being transparent, I have a really bad temper problem, but I'm working on it, you know. But also a bad habit for me, I feel, is that fact that I want to do better in things like health, and I don't work out and stuff like that, which is why, you know, I'm going to make it a habit now every Saturday to go run with y'all so we can do this half marathon.
Yes. I'm excited. It's a lot of fun. But
so come April, I'll be dead, so no more Keelan on the podcast.
Whatever.
Oh, gosh. You're so dramatic. That's another bad habit. You're just
dramatic.
I'm super dramatic, yeah.
I will say you went a completely different direction than what I was.
Oh, well. That's what this podcast is about.
True,
Just to make sense of it.
Awesome. So
look at you.
Snaps.
So how do you guys think, like, these habits form? I know Erica's talked about a little bit about, like, how habits form and how they begin, but how do they?
I think honestly it's just part of me feels like a habit starts and you don't even realize it's becoming a habit.
Yeah.
And you start doing it and then you're always doing it. Like, just going back to chili cheese fries, like, just being totally honest, there was a time I just started trying to be like super healthy, working out stuff in November. But before that, I would have like chili cheese fries like 3 times a week, which is so bad for you. But I loved them so much. So, but then I didn't really realize I was having them so much until I started not having them. And I was like, there was a period where I went through a withdrawal and I would see a Sonic and I'm like, oh, this is so bad, but it's so funny. I literally was eating, I was eating this healthy food. It was like Mongolian beef and rice or something. And I was eating it. And I printed a picture of chili cheese fries and I put it in front of me. And I was eating it while I was looking at these chili cheese fries.
That is so you.
I know, but I mean, now I don't feel like it's a habit anymore.
But to be honest, I don't think like, this is just me, my personal thing. I don't think that 3 times a week is a habit to me. And that you might be like, definitely, but I feel like a habit is something I'm doing every day.
I mean, true. Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest. Teresa, Erica, y'all know me. What's my favorite food in the world?
You love potatoes.
I eat potatoes every single day. Jesus himself could come down and be like, Keelan, you have to stop eating potatoes. And I would tell him, I'm sorry.
You can't. You can't.
You need to repent right now.
I'm like, God, I can't. Like, that's who I am. Like, Keelan equals potatoes. Like, you look up potatoes in the dictionary and it says, please see Keelan.
Stop it.
Because that's so. I think a habit is something that, for me, I'm doing every single day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, or then you can say like your habit is your addiction. So
yeah. Well, I don't even know if it's something that you're doing every day. I think it's something more, a habit is something more that could be triggered. So I'm not getting mad every day if somebody cross me and I'm ready to go in.
Yeah.
So, you know, people, I liked how Erica, you guys are talking about, it's like an unconscious behavior.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you like look up stuff about how to set good habits or how are habits started or how to, you know, how do you control your bad habits, it's all going to start with this concept of like our brain and the way that those things are developed in our brains. There's a lot. I read this book. It's called Change Your Habits, Change Your Life by Tom Corley. And in the book, it talks about different ways that habits are started and talks about like typically habits within people's lives are started in the home, in their families, and in their environment and what they're used to. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I would say habits start when you're young and like you see something your parents do and then they're doing it all the time. So then you start doing it all the time. I don't know if I can think of a like for example, but
well, see, let's go academic for a second because you know this is what I said in college. It's socialization. So like your parents, your church, your friends, the media, your peers, all these things influence the things that you do, the way that you act, but also the habits that you form. So let's say someone has the habit of smoking. I mean, habit, addiction, whichever one you want to call it at that point. Sometimes it's because you see someone else doing it and you see the things they get from doing it, not like the health side, but, you know, more people get, you know, more attention or they get more. Let's talk about at work. A lot of people get smoke breaks, you know, when they go to work. That's extra time that they get to not do anything. So let me get on that bandwagon. And so, you know, you just form habits. And so I think that would kind of be an example.
yeah,
Definitely.
for
But
sure.
I think your family, though, is your biggest influence on the habits that you form, the way that you act and stuff like that, and how you interact with people. So,
Yeah, I would say that. I want to pick up on the part where you talked about the brain, because that's my that's my favorite habit. I actually read this article from a behavioral scientist, Nick Hobson, and he said that when a person engages in a behavior that's a habit, they show increased activation in the subcortical areas, which this might be. Let me layman's terms here.
I was like, whoa.
Okay,
you're so smart.
I was like, she got an education.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay, let me layman's terms. Is that?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know.
Let's do that.
Okay, so during effective habit formation, the brain requires more of a processing in the old brain. So the back of your brain. Imagine that. But when you're thinking about your conscious goals, all of your juice is going to the front part of your brain, so the new brain. So that's why the biggest thing when you're doing habits and goals is it's very ineffective to create a goal and then create a habit. You have to create a habit and then the goal, which is kind of like, so you want, let me read what this says. It says, studies have shown that getting people to deliberate and think carefully about their goals actually prevents them from creating a habit down the road. That's because when you're thinking about your goal, all your brain juices are going to the front of your brain. But when you're trying to develop a habit, you need your brain juices to go to the back of the brain.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. I think so.
Makes
Think
sense.
about apple juice.
Yeah, you keep on saying juice.
Ooh, we should do a little science fair project, and
That would be fun.
I'm here for it.
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not here for no science fair project. I'm done with that. I'm a teacher now. Let the kids do
Now
that.
you make your kids do
Now
that.
the kids
have the
do.
kids do
Well,
it.
I don't teach science, but
LOL.
But that makes sense. So, because what I was reading is that habits are investments.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it kind of makes sense where you said you don't want to start your goal first, you want to start your habit, because a lot of times people don't realize is that your brain, when you're trying to do something new and out of the ordinary, because it takes so much energy for the brain to start doing that new thing,
Ugh.
it will fight you tooth and nail not to do it. One thing that I said, I want to work out. So I've made this workout plan at home. I have this yoga stuff that I do, and then we're starting to run. And I promise you, every time it's right before a workout, I start thinking, well, maybe if I could push it back 30 minutes. And then I'll say, well, maybe I push it back 30 minutes. And I literally sometimes feel like I have to fight myself to go and do the activity. And once I've gotten the activity done, I feel a lot better. So I wonder if that's the same thing as the juices. Maybe I'm pushing all my juices and going, come on, guys.
Yes.
I'm going to start bending my head backwards and just going, please.
I will say that is a hard part. I guess for me, because I'm trying to work out in the mornings, and there's days my alarm will go off at 5 a.m.
I'm not.
So I can work out before I go to work. And my body will just be like, ugh. I mean, you could do it after work. And I literally will sit there and I'll think of reasons why I could do it after work.
Yes.
And I don't have any plans after work. I get home at 4:30 or 5:30. I can work out real quick. But then, if I don't do it in the morning, when I get home in the afternoon, I'm so tired.
Isn't it crazy how we put so much brain power into figuring out ways of not to do something rather than just to take the 15, 20, 30 minutes to actually do it and just get them over with and not actually have to think about it.
It's
Now that you said it like that.
Procrastination. Oh.
I'm such a bad procrastinator.
So how are we going to form new habits? What are we going to do to form new habits?
I will say one of the things when trying to make a habit is that you want to think about all the rewards you'll get if you make that a habit. So, for instance, if I'm trying to make a habit of not eating chili cheese fries, the rewards I'm getting from that is I probably won't have as high of cholesterol. I don't know what my cholesterol levels are, but I feel like if you eat that much cheese and processed foods, it's probably bad for you. So,
well, I feel like I'm a diabetic because I eat so many potatoes since it's a simple carbohydrate. Let's go into science a little bit. So I feel that if I'm not a science teacher, but I'm a history teacher, but whatever, I know my science. But the thing is, I feel that if I stop or I break the bad habit of eating, potatoes that are deep fried with onions and peppers and
Ooh, I need to go to
all
snack.
of the time.
Can we have
If I'm
lunch?
doing that, like Erica said, cholesterol's going to go down, feel like you have more energy and, weight loss. Yeah. Those are all the good rewards. So, but also you have to situate yourself in the environment to make sure that you don't do that. So making sure, my home, that I don't have these things around so that I can't continue that bad habit. Or, I don't know, like going out to eat or something like that, I'm not putting myself in that situation.
Yeah. And so for me, like setting good habits, so for like the last 2.5 weeks, like 3 weeks, I feel like it's been longer, but I know it hasn't been longer. It's probably just my body going, girl.
You need to stop.
For me, it's like being aware of when I feel like that bad habit wants to happen. So like knowing and then figuring out like what is triggering that habit and what's making me. So like I love milkshakes. And every time I drive past a Sonic, Steak and Shake, I'll be like, oh man, I want that caramel milkshake. So figuring out. And then 2, it's like, I think everybody has a different personality in the way that they deal with their habits. So like for me, it's just come to a point where I had to just hand out, say, I am not doing this. I am not eating out is like a big thing for me because I like food and I like to eat and I like things that are quick. So at home, I have started to meal prep and plan, and I have this cookbook, and because I like trying new stuff out and new recipes, I've been going and buying groceries and making those recipes and setting time every night to eat those things, and I've saw great results. I don't feel as tired. I don't feel as wore out. I don't feel, when you get that after you eat a cheeseburger or something, you get that bloated feeling in your gut. I haven't had those feelings. I haven't had that gut feeling where it's overwhelming or I've eaten too much, and just being able to say this is what I'm getting and my reward. So it's like saying how we talked about exercising. We're doing a marathon,
right?
And so
half marathon.
Sorry, there was a point.
The world knows
miles.
it. Yeah.
We went and we ran yesterday, and I felt really good when I was running. I was like, oh, this feels great. I started practicing a week or 2 ago, and when I first ran, I was out there, and you would have thought I was going to die. I ran a mile, and I was turning red. I was breathing hard. My husband was looking at me. He's like, are you okay? Because I'm not okay. So it's getting your body used to that. Erica talks about that reward. So there's something that cues you to want to have that habit. Then there's something that trigger that goes, okay, I'm going to get that thing that I want, and then the reward for it. So right now it's the reward of that running. I just started to realize that feeling that I get now. I feel good when I'm running, or I feel good when I'm exercising and being active. So it's about that reward. And I think our brains, for short-term and long-term, I think we talked about this last week, is that short-term stuff, it triggers something to where it makes us feel good that we want to keep doing it. So when we reach a goal, have you ever accomplished something and you're like, oh, that feels great. That's such a relief. That's kind of that same feeling. I think that's what triggers that habit to keep going. This feels good. You ever exercise for a long time and then somebody be like, oh, you look good today.
Yes.
And you're like, okay.
And you're like,
well,
now I want to
that feeling
change
because I
my
don't
eating
exercise.
plans. Now I want to go exercise a little bit more. So yeah.
I think it's funny how we can not know our own habits, but then we can look at other people and know their habits and know how bad they are. Teresa, we know you like milkshakes, but we know that you also love chips.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about that.
She's only giving up
Erica
milkshakes.
loves chili cheese fries, but Erica's
can't talk about it.
the child of eating. She likes little
goldfish,
chicken nuggets and stuff like that.
Chicken nuggets,
but
and
everybody knows
mustard.
I love potatoes, and I'll cook them 3,000 times a day. If,
Well, you can make potatoes a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
so.
but
can have
it's
sweet
crazy how we
potatoes.
can know each person's habits.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy too.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think too, where you were talking about triggers and stuff, I think if you can avoid that trigger, so for instance for me, chili cheese fries, if I can do everything I can to maybe even go an alternate route so I don't pass a Sonic, then you're not tempted. So you want to try to.
What if your gas is low that day and you can't go the alternate route? Otherwise, you're going to be sitting on the side of the street.
Activity, Erica, you better drive on fumes.
Don't close your eyes. Do not close your eyes.
No, I'll close my eyes and then I won't see it.
Oh, Lord, please don't close your eyes. Just go the alternate route.
But